Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Cancer August 2024 reading and forecast high. I'm Nigel St. James, clairvoyant. Well, this month we have an interesting deck. It's centered around the figures of known as the Fae, spelt F-E-Y in English, otherwise known as fairies. Now, it might interest you to know that the tradition and recognition of the Fae or the fairies has been around as long as centuries before the time of, it's probably about 500, 600 BC in Persia. And I suppose there's some talk of it really in Vedic tradition, where there's the discussion of the Vedas, the beings of light, and certainly it did form part of early Christian tradition as well. And naturally, of course, it's an integral part of pagan traditions today. Children are very receptive to the influence of the Fae. Children are very receptive to the broader reality anyway, before they become socialized and propagandized. Have you ever noticed that if you look into the eyes of a three-month-old baby in your arms and it's looking back at you, as you look into its eyes, it's as if you are looking into eternity, and it is looking back at you with amusement and goodwill, I suppose, is what there is here. And the fairies do provide the ability to help along good intentions and good thoughts. Now, you do know that I provide clairvoyant readings for people from anywhere around the world over FaceTime and Skype. And that is a spiritual gift. It shows up in about 1 in 10 million people, on my estimation of traveling all around the world over the last 4 decades or more. And the details are in the description. Now, the other thing which I do offer, now I charge for clairvoyant readings, but what I offer for free is the spiritual gift of healing. Now, why do I have that? I don't know. There's nothing special about me. But nevertheless, I do have it, and I know that I am to use it, and it is provided for free. You might just be at your wit's end. You could have an emotional upset, you could be some physical problem. All I know is that it seems to me that it was given on the basis that good is produced. And as I say, there is no obligation attached to it. You won't be talked into having a reading with me. You won't be sold anything. There's no strings attached. It's done for free. That's how it works. Anyway, let us now take 5 cards for you, shall we? And show me the magic. The Empress. It's a good card for you, that. Page of Fire. Here we are. The High Priestess. Very interesting. Major Arcanas 2 and 3. The High Priestess is kind of rare for that to come up, the High Priestess, really. There's the 8 of Air. Oh, some spiders. I've got arachnophobia for some reason. I'm sure that in a previous life I was a spider. I think I just get that feeling. That's probably why I'm petrified of them. And there is the Elder of Air. Well, why don't you come and sit down here next to me? I'll bring the camera around. You and I can have a good close look at the color and the artwork on these beautiful paintings together while I do the reading for you.
What a great month it looks like for you. Look at the success and everything that you're going to have here. Great ability to make things happen. You're going to be unstoppable. Looking at yourself, but there might be a moment of indecision with something here. I'm going to deal with this card first. Number 1, because the energy of it is being smashed by the other cards. Number 2, because I hate the depiction that's on the card, and I'll tell you why. Now, I, as a child, grew up in a part of Sydney, Australia, which was absolutely infested with a thing called the Sydney funnel web spider. And in summer, when the rains came in particular and the ground was wet, these spiders would go around looking for mates, and they would bite you and kill you, and the You could be dead within an hour, and a small child could be dead within 15 minutes until an anti-venin was established in the late 80s. But when I was a child, and in the community where I grew up, which was a surfing community in the northern beaches of Sydney, surfing community full of artists and hippies and what have you, it was a relaxed way of life, and these things were everywhere. They'd get into bathrooms and pools. They can live underwater, you see, in the filter of a swimming pool for 3 days and trap the air. And it's just horrible. I want to cover them up. They look just like those things. Anyway, here we have a fairy that is being entwined with silk from these dastardly creatures. I'm going to cover this up in a second because I have arachnophobia as a result of the trauma that I suffered as a child with these damn things. Now, this is Jupiter in the first decan of Gemini, which is the 21st to the 31st of May. Well, Jupiter in Gemini. Look, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, and that's diametrically opposed to Gemini on the zodiac wheel, and therefore they are in opposition to one another astrologically. So Jupiter, and a great benefic part that it can often have to play, is weakened, and it's weakened by the inquisitive nature of Gemini. Now, Gemini refers to that aspect of creation which, when the divine impulse comes in to create matter, everything goes into polarization. Everything in all directions just becomes a mass of polarities and of contradictions. In order that, in time, things can develop in a way which can attract one another. But here we have a weakened Jupiter, and so it might seem that you can't get what you want due to too many, which is the Gemini aspect of the energy here, too many distractions. And those distractions may or may not be self-created, and as a result of that, you might think that you're having some sort of problems with endurance, or maybe even, because Gemini is a very intellectual sign, worry from thinking too much, overthinking, thinking again and again and again, and returning to thoughts again and again, or difficulty in making choices. Now, I think you might find yourself having to choose between two alternatives of what I think are going to be alternatives which are equally good. Now, you're not going to come to this decision actually by using your brain. Your doubt, you see, or your fears of making the wrong choice are going to constantly sabotage this desire for inner clarity that you need to make the decision. And as I say, you could also be feeling, I just don't have the energy to go through with this, which you will need if you are to clarify a situation which could be confusing. And it could seem to you that no matter where you turn, no satisfactory solution seems to exist. And the more that you try to unravel the tangled ball of silk or web, the tighter the knot becomes. Well, what this is here is also a fear of failure, maybe even holding yourself back. There's a sense here of quitting or thinking about quitting before you even start, because you kind of think you are going to fail, but there's no rational reason for thinking that. Well, what you must do here is to let things rest and develop on their own for a while, because as long as doubt concerning these decisions remains, don't go for anything new. You see, Jupiter is the poster child for unforeseen and unexpected change for the better. And the problem which may arise for you, which could seem to be something which you just don't know what to do with, well, it's going to find its own solution in its own way, and you will be amazed. Again, this Gemini influence around here, it could lead to what I call analysis paralysis, with your mental energy being scattered all over the place on thoughts which are just dissipating. You can't produce anything. You're not concentrating any thought. Well, as I say, the thing to do is to take some time out and just do something different and let Jupiter come in, do its work, and let things settle. Then you can come back with new eyes and you will see the solution. So what are the alternatives that you are torn between now? Well, just relax and let things develop. Say this to yourself: I'm not worried about this situation because I am relaxed. I know things will work out. They always do, and I trust life. Right, now do you mind if I cover this up? It freaks me out. I guess I've got that stuff when I call it arachnophobia. I've got better over the years, but when it comes to funnel web spiders, I don't play anything. So if you don't mind, I'll just leave that there because it's just interfering with how I can see what else is going on. Well, let me put that here now. I'll turn that over for now. And then when I finish with this, I will put it on top of it. Damn spiders. The Empress. Well, what a lovely vision we have here. Do we not? Look, she really embodies and commands the feminine in all of its forms. Her form here and the surroundings, well, they are marked by beauty and wholeness, aren't they? You feel a sense of well-being in her presence, taking part in the harmony of her being. Now, her beauty is not restricted only to the externally visible, like you. I mean, you're beautiful, but you're not just beautiful on the outside. You see, her femininity in this case, and don't be concerned, men, because we all have feminine principles, and everybody has feminine and masculine principles within them. But here, with this Empress, her femininity is fully evolved on all the levels of her being, which give her a real special radiance. Now, she is a mother and a lover. And she's a good lover. She's a ruler. And she might be something of a witch at the same time. And her strength rests in bringing together the highest spiritual values in all of the forms that we can understand them with, uniting them with what we can see here on the earth. Now, the essential characteristics of her realm as an empress are love in its giving and receiving aspects. And I'm getting that from the white and the red that's there. She has a great degree of creativity and fruitfulness, which I'm getting from this green color to the skin. And she has understanding and wisdom, which are coming from these lilac colors of these flowers here. Now, it's not going to surprise me at all. And look, she is pregnant. The other person who's pregnant in this, well, the tarot generally is that Princess of Earth. So don't be surprised if you hear of a pregnancy. And this is a time for you to be in touch with the beauty of your life and to have confidence in your own beauty. Now, it may surprise you to know this. Sometimes a lot of women have a great degree of problems about, am I beautiful enough? Well, look, I've been a lover. I'm a straight man and a lover of women since the age of 5 years old, and every woman is beautiful. Exploring a relationship with your mother is something that could be on the cards here. And I think that you'll have a very nurturing approach to other people and also to yourself. very fertile here, fertile for producing ideas, for getting projects off the ground, for developing your potential, and for bringing about success in your ventures as well. Now, not surprisingly, given this depiction here, I think that you will have a strong love of nature, and you'll be a natural parental figure, either to your own children or acting as one to other people, or a mentor, that is, giving them guidance. I don't think anyone's going to be able to categorize you. You're not going to be able to be put in a pigeonhole by other people. You will you'll remain a mystery, I think, to people during this period. There is nevertheless strong leadership ability about you, and this is a particularly good card for women, I must say. I will say this though, and again it's a reminder particularly to women, but to everybody, that the beauty that you see in others which attracts you to them, it is a beauty that you already carry within yourself. And I think if you're a woman, that you're in the process of unfolding and evolving your femininity. And now might just well be the time to work out any unresolved mother conflicts or mother-son, mother-daughter conflicts. Ask yourself, is there a strong and beautiful woman that you know of, or could, from, media, model yourself upon, from whom you think you could take some inspiration? Visualize your ideal woman. Write down her most important qualities. And then look for these in yourself. And surround yourself with beauty and abundance. This is a time when you should be saying this: I give and receive wisely. I realize that the capacity to receive is equally as important as the capacity to give. I value the healing power of beauty, harmony, and love. And I am filled with power and beauty. Well, okay, now we will look at the next card. They give me the creeps, those things. I'll put that like that, right, just so we remember that we looked at it, but just for my sake, if I can just keep those bloody spiders away. The High Priestess. Oh, what a fantastic looking picture here. What does this have to say to me? Well, I think, first of all, that you are going to have access to your intuitive powers. There's a great degree of healing energy around here for you. You're certainly going to find that your self-confidence starts to go through the roof, and you will be discovering your inner truth, I think. Now, this High Priestess, we're looking at her here, she really is in touch with her intuitive abilities, I think. Don't you think so? And she can trust them completely. You see, she perceives and is connected with her own inner voice. That is the internal guide and healer. And this shows outwardly, I think, in her trust in and responsibility for herself. I mean, she's very relaxed. These wings are outspread there. There's a great openness to do with her there. Now, you know how camels can travel long stretches in the desert without water? Well, I think that what's going to happen is that you, when you have discovered what I call your own inner spring, you will also radiate a satisfied sense of self-sufficiency. And you're going to find the fertile oasis that's within you. The more that you accept yourself and share with others, the deeper the clarity of your perceptions will become. Now, this art is actually very interesting because what I'm taking from it here is that this upper half of her body, particularly with these wings outstretched like this, that expresses the feminine receptive. And that is the outstretched wings that I see here. And look at the moon, which is down here as well, the changing cycles. Well, that's the woman's cycle, isn't it, of the moon? And also of the changes of emotions that can very often be held. But from, if you like, here down, there's this solid, black, straight line, dynamic. And with this thing here, it shows a sort of a direction and purpose. That's almost the male aspect here. Now, she can indicate, I think, extrasensory perception and intuitive abilities, maybe even as a touch of psychic awareness for you during this time, certainly empathy. And you could even find that you have the ability to heal yourself. Now, these abilities are arising within you, which is in harmony with the cosmic law here. This feminine aspect here too is just accentuated by these crescent moons. Beautiful. I think that this can represent a platonic friendship that you could be coming across that's going to be really enjoyable for you. But you do understand also that there's changes going away for you, and that changes on the inside are necessary to make changes on the outside. And there is the need for you to be more confident with your intuitive and feminine side. Go with the flow with life and keep everything in balance. Do you now have access to your intuitive powers? So develop them fully. Guard your independence. And other areas in your life in which you allow others to influence you rather than trusting your own intuition. And because of this presence of the moon here and its effect on water, I would say seek out water as often as you can. Learn from it as much as you can. And say, I deeply honor and value the human being that I am. I am intuitive and perceptive. I trust myself and honor my sense of integrity. I trust my intuitive abilities. And it's good that you do trust your intuitive abilities, because they are going to be, in combination with this, propelling you forward. Now here is the Elder of Air, surrounded by crows, which are no doubt sent off to pick up gossip and intelligence about what's going on in the realm. You're going to be very goal-oriented and ambitious. And there's going to be a great degree of passion with you. Now, this passion can be expressed physically or in the bedroom as much as it can do in the work that you do. It's almost as if there's almost like a deranged desire to get what you want. Now, you're going to be very active, clever, skillful, very fierce, I think. Maybe not all the time so reflective about what it is that you are doing. You see, thoughts and ideas are going to come to you with lightning speeds. You are, in a sense, the master of imaginative and flexible thinking, which you'll be using to achieve your goals. And this strong intellectual determination, I think, that you have is going to be unified with a deep emotional understanding, because only those goals which are emotionally charged are going to be able to fire up the passion with you. But your body, intellect, and spirit, they're all in harmony, and they're going to be flying alongside of you. Now, despite that card with the spiders all over it here, you see, I told you that this was going to come about if you let Jupiter come into to do its work. You are going to get a clear insight into a problem. So you do get the insight into that problem that was spoken of earlier. And you'll be working quickly to resolve it and to set goals. And you're not going to let anything get in the way. Actually, I think this is something of a restless period where you are sort of going through some sort of change, trying to get somewhere else, either in your everyday life, travel or something. But definitely this is a time for you to listen to your head rather than to your heart. There's a restlessness in all aspects of life here. Maybe, look, are you completely satisfied with what you're doing? You might want to break free from the workplace, perhaps. But anyway, you definitely are now in a good position to make plans, to set goals, and to make them successful. Success and abundance are coming your way. But do you know your goal? That is to say, ask yourself the question, what do I want? Not something abstract like happiness or money, but a specific thing. What do I want? And then what are the steps to get towards it? Once you know what you want, everything else becomes easy. You get rid of so much irrelevant information in your life. So think about now how you are going to enjoy your success. But say this to yourself, I know my goal and I know what I'm working towards, and each goal is just a milestone on the way to my ultimate destination. And as if to just reinforce how successful, determined, and moving forward you are going to be, look at the colors in this, would you? Here we have a creature that is holding a disc with flames, from a suit of fire presumably, in which she can see all the possibilities that lie before her. Now, what's important about this, and I'm looking at this thing coming up here, which is a representation to me of fear, this red snake. You are going to be freed from fear. This is talking about a new beginning, optimism, and an increased perception here. You're going to be very energetic. People are going to find you quite individualistic, I think. Brilliant, perhaps. Daring. You're going to be very expressive in love. And good for you. If you're going to engage in it, do it 100%. You'll have a great enthusiasm around you as well. Now, you could have quite a reactive personality during the period here. You'll be extremely individual. And do you know what I see here? I think that you are going to create your own beauty by your essential love for life and vigor and energy, so much so that you are going to bedazzle people. And I think that whether it's in anger or in love, you might be quite sudden, violent, and just unable to be satisfied. There's a great ambition here with you. Now, but look at this side though, and just be aware of this. There's just a little bit creeping through here, we should say that. Just be careful that you don't sometimes get irrationally enthusiastic about people or projects. Just check things out. And this is a period, I have to say, where I don't think that you are going to forget an injury at all. Now, it's a period where I don't see any patience around with you. Well, except perhaps the patience in which you lie in wait to spring your revenge upon people who have wronged you in some way, I suppose. I think that this fiery background that we see in the painting there, that is symbolizing passion, vitality, and a flaming energy. And when fear disappears, as it has, because you conquer it, undreamed of springs of enthusiasm and joy can bubble up, and it's going to revitalize your life. Your self-limiting fears to date, this thing here is now a corpse. It's dead, and it can be buried and forgotten because your old fears have lost their power over you, and their dead remains cannot frighten you any longer. And also, think about what your greatest strengths are. Play to your strengths. Minimize your weaknesses here. So, what's the next step in your life? Find it fearlessly. Say to yourself, I deserve success, abundance, and love.
It seems that whenever I do a reading for you like this, that I always get so much out of it myself. So I hope that you certainly did. I find out more about myself, and inexplicably, somehow or other, it seems to me that I find out more about what is going on in the broader realm, in the cosmic realm. I enjoyed doing that, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did giving it to you. Now, unless I see you privately for a clairvoyant reading or for healing, then I'll see you again here next month. And until then, remember one thing, and it is this, that you are a legend. And I look forward to seeing you again next month. And until then, it's bye for now.